Well, first of all, I think we all feel like outsiders. You are always looking at the world a little differently, and you're always a little bit nervous as to whether or not you're seeing things that others and whether or not you'll be accepted. I'm Bendor-Samuel with the Everest Group, and you're watching Techfluencers with GAVS Technologies. Most people think I grew up in England. I was actually born in Brazil. My parents were missionaries. I grew up in a mud hut with Amazonian Indians called the Guajajaras. One of the things we did for fun is we would find bees, and we would knock them out of the air, and we would tie them with thread, and you could fly them like kites. Most people fly kites, I flew bees. When I was 9, my parents moved back to England, and I had trouble in school. Today we know it's called dyslexia. Fortunately, I had a father and a grandfather that had built into me a lot of self-belief, and I was able to work through this. My second job was with Ernst & Young. I was a young man full of life and ambition. I started to think about the most difficult thing I could do, the most rewarding thing would be start a company. And I would come home at night with different ideas, all of which my wife would discourage me from and shoot down. There was one time where I was coming back from New Orleans and I wrote down a small business plan on the back of a legal pad. And I came in, it was the idea for starting Everest Group. To my complete surprise, my wife said, "Honey, I think you should do that one." It was about 5 years later, after the firm had been established and it was clear we were going to be profitable, that she told me, "Honey, I encouraged you to do that because it was the least crazy of your ideas. I knew we were going to go bankrupt, but I wanted to do it while we were young so we could recover." I enjoy problem solving. I like challenges. AI promises to be perhaps the most disruptive and most powerful of the technologies. At the moment, it needs a lot of data. The problem for most companies is that we don't have a lot of good data. We have small amounts of data, and our data tends to be dirty, it tends to be imprecise, and hence AI is difficult to deploy. There are people who need to start businesses that it's burning inside them to do that. Those are the people that should do that. It's going to be the most difficult, most challenging thing that you can do. We're sitting at the edge of a tremendous set of changes. A set of changes that are going to be very beneficial for individuals, for companies, and for society. One of the philosophies I have is fingerprinting. Things you leave behind. You don't need to have had recognition that you're there, but you have influenced people, companies, society. It's good to get out of the office. You know, if you know me, you know I always have a cup of coffee in my hand.